Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham Scott. Alongside, as always, hello, Scott.
Sean, it's good to be here. I don't know if you can tell, I've set up a different webcam. Usually when I try to plug my dock into my laptop, it goes nuts with the microphone and the webcam, but I've figured it out that I've got plugged in separately.
Okay.
So now I look better because of my great webcam.
There you go. Which is great because we released this on audio only.
I got a face for radio. That's what someone told me once, right?
There you go. You know, but hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get back into live streams in the new season.
Yeah, now that I got this set up, I think I kind of have to.
Yeah. So there you go. You know, new quad, new camera, new everything.
New us.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're the same.
Yeah, I feel very similar to how I was.
Yeah, but you know what's not the same, Sean? Some curling teams out there.
Curling teams, yeah. So we've talked sort of off and on over the course of the spring into the summer here about some of the lineup changes, but there was a doozy that happened earlier this week out of Scotland, where the number one ranked team in the world is no more, as Grant Hardie is leaving Team Mouat, and he is joining forces with Ross Whyte, where Grant Hardie will skip. Ross Whyte will throw the 4 stones. And in Grant Hardie's place, Robin Bryden is coming over from Ross Whyte's team to play third. So we'll still have Hammy and Lammy on the front end of that team. And then over on the other side with Ross Whyte, it'll now be Team Hardie who is coming in, and Craig Waddell and Ewan Kyle will be the front end of that team. So, Scott, what was your initial reaction to this pretty monumental lineup change?
Yeah, it was pretty. I was pretty surprised. I'd heard, and I don't know where I heard this, but I had sort of thought if anything was going to happen, that Grant might step back for a while, right? But yeah, him basically pulling this 1-for-1 swap, right? This is like trade deadline bonanza news.
Yeah, we need Duffy on this.
Yeah, we need that alert. Yeah, it's pretty big, right? And already Team Mouat and Team Whyte were pretty good rivals in Scotland. There was the clear sort of favored team in Bruce Mouat, but Ross Whyte's team was on tour. They played in all the slams, I think, last year. Won at least one. They're kind of like in the mix all the time in these events. So for two teams from the same country that are already both very, very strong, to do a 1-for-1 swap is kind of interesting and a little bit head scratchy, right? Like, I wonder why they did that instead of, I don't know, bringing in somebody new or whatever it is. But I guess keeping all in the program is something that was important, and that Grant wanted to skip again. So yeah, this gives him that opportunity, keeps Team Mouat strong, keeps the new Team Hardie quite strong, and yeah, they've got 4 years to figure it out before they decide who will represent Team GB at the next Olympics.
Yeah, and you have, of course, 3 world championships between now and then as well. That will be very interesting to see what the federation decides to do. They did announce, of course, that the national champion will get to go to the Euros, but they have reserved the right to appoint a team to the World Championship. And that, I wonder if first 2 years, each of them gets a chance and go see what you can do. And then make a decision in the third year when we get down to brass tacks in terms of qualification, and just go with whoever's playing better or go with the champion. Like, it's going to be interesting from the administrative side what the federation wants to do. But in terms of the players themselves, yeah, there had been a lot of talk about Grant Hardie stepping away. And I think what was really illuminating, he did a few interviews with various folks, and he was on with Cullen. And I didn't listen to it, but I read the parts of the transcript that have been put out in stories, where he was talking about how Hardie was talking about how he needed something to keep his interest, that he needed a change. He had skipped before, and going back into the house was something new for him and something to kind of renew that interest. And I think I can appreciate that being third, doing that, the same thing over and over, it could get a little boring, especially when you're winning a bunch. Like, where's the challenge almost at that point? Granted, they didn't win the Olympic gold medal, but they've won a lot of stuff. They've been very successful. And sometimes you just want and need a new challenge. And going into the house for him, I think that brings it back. And I think from the standpoint of, I think some questions have been asked about, well, there's nothing wrong with Ross Whyte as a skip.
No,
obviously tons of success, but you see Grant Hardie, he sees the ice differently, I think, from most people. Is he a mechanical engineer type background? Like, he really understands angles and the way stones are going to come off each other, maybe better than anybody else in the world right now. And so him being in the house makes all the sense in the world in terms of setting up the angles, setting up the ends. And he's seen everything you could possibly see for the most part, and played with three guys who can make anything. And now he's going over with three guys who can make almost anything, if not anything.
Yeah.
And so I think that dynamic from his perspective, I absolutely see where he's coming from. And if you're Team Mouat and Grant comes to you and says, I'm not going to play with you anymore because either I'm stepping away or I really want to go play skip, that's the only way that I think you appreciate the honesty, right? You don't want like a guy who's not fully committed or not fully interested, invested in what you got going on, who just needs a change. And that happens in life, and it's not a big deal. And they're still going to be buddies. And in 50 years, hopefully they're all still around and get to, whatever the Winter Olympics looks like, if it still exists in 50 years, they're carrying the torch through Edinburgh for something, right? They're still going to be intertwined, the four of them, no matter what happens with their new teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point, Sean, about people just needing a change sometimes. And sometimes that's all it is, right? You just need some sort of new thing to keep your interest. So making it able to work this way works. It seems to me like it works for everyone. Now, I don't think that it will come out and end up being a tire fire. But if it did, you could always go back, right? They could always decide, well, this didn't really work. Hey, you want to play again?
Yeah.
I doubt that it would happen, but it's possible.
Yep.
So, yeah, overall, I think it's interesting. And what it really does, Sean, anytime someone leaves a team, you always want to see that first game back against your old team.
Absolutely.
Right? And in this case, we've got two people playing against their old teams, which I think, is pretty much appointment viewing. Yeah,
the problem is it's probably going to take place in August at a get your feet wet spiel.
Sean, I got some time off. Maybe I'll go to Sterling. They'll probably do it in Sterling at the center, but maybe I got a place I can stay in Sterling, so let's
go for it.
see what we can find.
Yeah. So so a big change here. You're right. It's going to be something when they eventually meet up, and obviously both teams initially are not going to be as good in September as they were in March, and that's not a product of any of the players. It's just learning each other, learning the dynamic, and that's it. It's going to take a bit of time for the two teams to gel, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch. And as you alluded to there, Scott, it's a rivalry now. I think it was a rivalry already between Ross Whyte and Bruce Mouat, with Bruce Mouat, the 4-year-old Bruce Mouat as the old hand.
Yeah.
If he's even that old, he might not even be that old. I think Hardie's 34 or 33. Right. And Ross Whyte, the young up and comer, there at 27, and you got to be thinking, what if you're Cameron Bryce? You got to be thinking, come on, man,
come on, guys.
I thought we were getting rid of one guy. Like, give me a break. But so it got us to thinking. There's been some great rivalry games in curling and some great rivalries too, right? Pat Ryan versus Kevin Martin was a great rivalry. Kevin Martin versus Glenn Howard was a great rivalry. Kevin Martin versus the CCA was a delightful rivalry for a while. Kevin Martin versus Randy Furby was a good one to keep track of. So, there's been some great rivalries out there in the world of curling over the years. But this is a new one, right? This is one that we'll track over the next 4 years, if not longer. And it's one that we're excited for. But it got us to thinking, Scott, what are some of the other rivalries in the sport right now? And I want to be clear that rivalry doesn't mean you necessarily have to hate each other. It's games that you're looking forward to watching, and teams that get up for each other. And they really want to beat each other. They could be great friends off the ice, but on the ice, I want to step on your throat and not let up for 10 ends. And so there's a few across the sport, but we wanted to go through and what are the rivalries that we're most excited for over the next 4 years?
Yeah. And it's pretty rare, I would say, outside of Canada for there to be a national rivalry, within a nation.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So that's what makes the Scotland situation so unique, because most countries will have that one team that is either the heavy favorite to go to the Worlds or is appointed to go to the Worlds, and you see them kind of year after year after year. Mm-hmm. In South Korea, especially on the women's side, we've got some good rivalries. Same in Japan on both the men's and the women's side, but largely speaking, it's pretty rare.
Yeah. It's not something that, just because the depth of the field, right, is just not there in most places. Yeah,
exactly. So one that I'm looking forward to, Sean, is to see, world champion Xenia Schwaller and how her young team stacks up against the new team, Elena Pats. So with Silvana Tirinzoni retiring, Elena Pats has taken, on the skipping of her new team. Both teams are excellent, right? That's one that I'm very interested to see how it goes, especially given how often they play each other, just because they do play in a lot of those spiels in Europe in the fall. So I think that's going to be a really good rivalry for at least the next couple of years. And then maybe Swiss curling sort of put some weight behind one rather than the other. But the way that Team Schwaller played at the Worlds, why couldn't it be them?
That's a great point. They were incredibly good at the World Championship. And Elena Pats now going back to full-time skipping, that is going to be a change for her. That could take some time. You're integrating a new player into that team. So this could be a chance here for Xenia Schwaller to get some momentum, certainly this first year of the quad, maybe run it back and see what happens. And I agree that's going to be one that's really interesting to watch as we look ahead to this quad. And I mean, Xenia Schwaller, with the exception of, was it the one game against Rachel Homan, looked unbeatable.
Yeah.
She was, especially those playoffs, she was great.
Yeah. and so calm, right? Calm under fire. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Another one, Scott, I think on the women's side to keep an eye on in terms of European countries. I think you got to look at the Anna Hasselberg and Isabella Reno rivalry coming out of Sweden. Who's going to get that spot? Isabella Reno did have a small lineup change, little change there, but Anna Hasselberg's team is going to run it back the same. And we had Isabella Reno in the World Championship this year. They've had really good success out on tour, some great results at the Grand Slams. Anna Hasselberg, the past couple of years, maybe not up to the standard that we would normally associate with them. So this is one that, again, like, what is the Swedish Curling Federation going to do? They go, which team is higher ranked? Are they going to use their or their national championship, which they've never done before? Like, that's one, I think, kind of like Switzerland, where you have that next gen team pushing up against the established team. And those are going to be games that you want to watch and keep track of what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point. What other ones have you got?
So a couple here. Now, these are not necessarily within the same country, but you mentioned Alina Pats. I think the Silvana Tirinzoni, Rachel Homan rivalry has been great. So I'm going to see if they can continue that. Alina Pats and Rachel Homan. Those were must-watch games for a few years there. They played in multiple World Championship finals. So again, the change in Team Pats, we'll see what the implication of that is, but they're all pals, but they love beating the crap out of each other on the ice, landing haymakers. So I think that's one to keep an eye on. And that with, I don't know what Rachel Homan's greatest rival is right now. It's either, or was, I guess, Team Tirinzoni, now Team Pats, or Team Kim. And I might lean a little more to Team Kim, but I think they had more big games against Team Tirinzoni, now Team Pats.
Yeah, that's what I think of immediately. That was actually the first one I thought of when we were thinking of this show. But you're right about Team Kim. So yeah, I think I would still give the nod to Tirinzoni, but we'll see how it evolves, now that it's Team Pats.
Yeah. So that'll be a fun one to, I think, keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure.
Yeah.
What else?
So the other one I got, I think this is the obvious one coming out of the Olympic Games, is Oscar Eriksson and Brad Jacobs.
Yeah.
Those two teams, when they meet, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Maybe things will cool out over the summer, but given a couple of the personalities involved, maybe not. So, I think now too, with Oscar being in the house, like, I don't know. I know Oscar Eriksson skipped in juniors and was very successful. He strikes me as a John Morris type, in the sense that, like, John Morris had too much energy to be a skip. Right? I think he needed to be moving around all the time. He's so excited to be out there and having such a good time. Like, he's bouncing off the walls. So having him walk up and down and sweep 4 rocks, I think, was really good for him, just to get some of that energy out. I get the sense that Oscar Eriksson's similar in that regard, that he always wants to be moving around, be involved. And so the transition to full-time skip, I think, will be interesting to see. But that also means that he and Brad Jacobs, when they play each other, have 2 hours just standing beside each other the whole time. Yeah.
And you might say, well, it's more opportunities to interact as you cross back and forth up and down the ice throughout the game. But yeah, being in the house and having the opportunity for those kind of conversations, I think might honestly cool things down. But that's one of the games, that you got to circle, and that first Grand Slam, they have to make the pool such that they play each other, right?
Yes. If they have any credibility, they 100% have to do that.
Yeah. Like, ratings be damned. We want to see this new team.
Yeah. So I think that that'll definitely be one to keep an eye on. That one though, like if we're looking at the quad, like rivalries as we look ahead to the quad, I'm not sure all 8 of those guys are going to be there at the end of the quad.
No,
So
I agree. I would
yeah.
take the under on if the over under was 8.
Yeah. What if I gave you an over under of 5.5?
Probably over on 5.5, but under on 6.5. I think there's at least
Okay.
one person from each team or 2 from one team that
Sure.
go part ways.
Yeah. I mean, well, Hebert said after they won the gold medal that he was like, well, now you got to stay, Mark.
Yeah. Like we got to do a victory lap, right?
Yeah. You got to run it back now.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I mean, maybe they do the thing that, well, Kennedy and Jacobs have done it before. Take a couple
Right.
years off in the middle of the quad and come back for the end of the quad. That's hard to do, but you know, you
It's
could take a
harder
year
to do as you get older, Sean, right? Like, staying in shape is not easy, especially as you get to what do they say? I read this somewhere. There's like a cliff between 43 and 47.
Oh,
There's like some kind of steep decline, and then there's another one late 60s
okay.
where you really have to like consciously try hard to avoid it.
Right.
But it's not necessarily something that's noticeable to everybody else, but apparently like those are like 2 big phases for your body.
Oh, interesting. You're on the front edge of that cliff there, Scotty.
Don't I know it?
So
Just
yeah,
took a bunch of vitamins, Sean, and came from the gym.
So that'll be something to keep an eye on those 2 teams. So if we're looking at the quad, yeah, maybe not so much with those two squads in particular. Another one, Scott, here on the men's side that I flagged that I think would be interesting, and maybe these 2 teams don't look this way at the end of the quad, but Tyler Tardy and Mike McEwen. With Tyler Tardy joining up with Mike McEwen's old team. And then Mike McEwen joining forces with Rylan Kleider, Joshua Mattern, and Trevor Johnson. So McEwen and Kleider, that's a really solid back end there. Tyler Tardy, he was great as a junior skip. So great that he just stopped playing junior because it was like unfair. Or it was like playing Madden on easy mode. And you're like, all right, just keep winning the Super Bowl. Like, I'm bored with this now. And then he went and learned from Kevin Cooey for 4 years. So him coming back, and again, it'll be a transition for him to get back into skipping, but he has the bona fides to be a great skip at the men's level. And then you throw in the dynamic with McEwen's old team, and Saskatchewan's going to be interesting.
So yeah, I'm just sort of looking at the new Mike McEwen. Oh yeah, he joined Rylan Kleider. You said that. Yeah, I think anytime that there's a good battle of Saskatchewan, it's good for curling, right? We know that the province does a great job on their coverage of the Tankard and the Scotties. So just getting the chance to watch that and see that sort of drama play out, maybe it will be not so much drama if one of the teams qualifies on points, but I guess there's no in-year points qualifier.
No.
So yeah, I think that'll be pretty fun to look. Oh, look at this. There's a lot of, like you and I were talking before the show, there's a lot of new teams that were like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one. I'll shift back to the women's side for my next one, Sean. Team Carrie Anerson has, Val Sweeting has gone to play in BC with Kayla McMillan. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So when those 2 teams meet, I'll be interested in that. But as a rivalry for the next 4 years, Anerson against Holman that's been the story of the last 4 years in Canadian women's curling.
Yep.
Really the last 8 years. Will that continue on for the next 4? I have to think yes, but I don't see any other women's team right now as it stands that's going to be right there with Team Holman.
No, not right now. And I mean, even the rivalry between Homan and Anderson, this quad was pretty one-sided. The
But
previous quad, it was not. But
it was pretty one-sided the other quad.
yeah, exactly.
For the other way, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So yeah, what happens is like, does it sag back the other way?
Yeah.
But you're right. Like on the women's side, it's hard right now to think who else can join that conversation. I'm very intrigued by Kate Cameron joining forces with Laurie St. George out of Quebec. I think that'll be a really fun team to keep an eye on. I think Selena Sturmey has made huge strides the last season and a half. So that's a team to keep an eye on. Kayla Skrlik, that new team that she's sporting, that could be interesting to see what we got there. In terms of just fun, we mentioned it last week. Suzanne Bird is back. Not somebody who's going to, compete in the slams and tour a lot, but someone who will give you a game at the Scotties, keep it interesting. But it's still those two, it feels like, and everyone else.
Well, and Sean, did you say Christina Black?
Well, that's true. Christina Black. Yeah. They had a lineup change. Jen Baxter's out. Still going to run a 5-person team, but you're right. Yeah. That's true. I did
they made the Scotties the playoffs, rather, the last 3 Scotties, I think.
Finalists at the trials.
At the trials.
Yeah. It's so hard though to compete from the East Coast, and it's a huge commitment to do so. I mean, they've done it the past couple of years, and they've gotten invites to the tier 2s. I think they got into at least one main draw slam, and if they can keep that up, I mean, they have all the talent to do it. There's no question about that.
Yeah. Is there any credence to this theory that I'm proposing right now, that there's a new East Coast rivalry between Team Christina Black and Team Suzanne Burt back in the fold?
No, I don't think there's any credence to that at all.
Damn, I thought it would be fun.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, never mind then.
Something else to keep an eye on. I don't know if this will necessarily rise to the state of rivalries, but if we look somewhat local for us, Scott, the men's grouping in Ontario, I think will be interesting. You have Nathan Young, who's going to play out of Ontario now. He's represented Newfoundland Labrador a couple times. He now lives in Ontario, so he's going to play out of Ontario. You also have Sam Muybrook. He's got a new team. He's had some success at the provincial level on the Cashspiel circuit. You have the reigning Ontario champions of Jaden King. They're running it back, same team, really good. And then you have Scott Howard, who's made some changes. The Cam brothers are out. Dave Mathers is back in. So that's a foursome there that you got to kind of pay attention to as well. And I think in Ontario on the men's side, the past 4 years, it has been kind of this conglomerate of guys. And now you have that again, and in their 20s, 30s range. So there's no, as we go into this quad, there's no obvious favorite. And will somebody emerge from it? And I think over the last few years, we've thought, okay, now it's Muybrook's turn. Okay, great. Now we have that team. And okay, well, now it's Jaden King. And wait, here's Scott Howard coming back. Like, there's these guys out there that, I mean, Mark Keane is doing another team, right? Like I think Ontario is kind of open for a run of dominance from someone. Like, will someone break away from this pack? It currently feels like the American League in 2026. Like, there's teams that we know are good and can be good, and somebody will jump out and go on a run and be really good. It's just, who will that team that kind of that races out front? Who's that going to be?
Yeah, of like all the teams that are around 500 right now, right? Like, who is that team that's going to run and sort of take the mantle? And that's the case with Ontario men's curling. You're right. A lot of parity there. I think it makes sort of the Ontario Tour and the Ontario Provincials a lot more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fun event the past few years.
Yeah.
Especially with the new rules that, like, you have to win it. If you're in it, you have to win.
Yeah. Yeah. When there was always that fallback, there was less at stake, right?
Yeah.
And now that those teams are automatically through, I think we advocated for this back in the day. Like, go check the tape, someone. But
unless we said the opposite, don't check the tape.
Then you can keep your analysis to yourself in that case. So, but yeah, that's a good point. That Ontario.
Yeah.
So a question for you. Now that Corey Dropkin is focusing on mixed doubles.
Yeah.
Is there like a dog fight at the top of US curling? Or are they all kind of in that same, like, we need to find out what this team's about right now? That's kind of the feeling I get, is that there's no clear number one team on the men's side for sure. And we're kind of trying to figure it out as we go.
I agree. I think we're definitely in a transitional spot in American men's curling. And this question of, where do we stand with it? And what's it gonna look like moving forward? Like, we just haven't gotten a lot of confirmation of what the teams are going to look like. And then you got Gushu in there now sorting things out too. Like, I think that's going to kind of determine a lot of how we think about it. So I think the men's space in USA curling right now is a bit of an unknown. And we sort of have to see once we get to the fall how everyone's going to line up.
Is there any juice to the idea that, like, the first time a US team plays Canada at an international event, there will be a little more behind that with Brad Gushu heading up the high performance program?
I don't think so, because the first time it happens is going to be at what? The seniors? No. What happens? What happens in the fall? The World Mixed?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not the high performance program, right?
I don't know. Is it? Probably not.
Well, someone will write and tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's extra juice to that, especially given where we are and
in the quad and that kind of stuff.
Quad.
Yeah.
No.
Fair enough. I just thought I'd pose the question.
Yeah. Another one though, Scott, as we go through the roster lineups, does Botcher Cooey count as a rivalry at this point? Cooey's got Johnson Tao, a former skip, doing kind of the same thing with that he did with Tyler. Tyler take a good skip who's still adjusting to the men's game, come in, play third for you. Brendan Botcher coming back to skipping after a couple years away. Brendan Botcher's not one is one who has had rivalries before with players. So is that one to keep an eye on?
I think it is. Yeah. What we saw from Cooey, the sort of what he can do this year at the Briar, right?
Yeah.
Where we were all kind of like, whoa, crazy. So, if he's able to, like, put that foot down on the gas like one or two more times with Botcher as sort of a natural rivalry that he's played against before, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's one to keep an eye on as well. And I think that's my list, Scott. Are there any others?
That's all I can think of. I do recognize that we are short shrifting the teams from Japan and Korea. But that's because I'm not tracking many changes, and that's just because TSN I don't think is. So,
well, there was we talked about it early on.
Team Kim, right?
The Kim change early on, yeah. And I think the Korean women's side we talked about before. Like, it's so at this point it's so deep, and it's really good to watch. And then on the Japanese side, you have to note,
Yoshida left Team Fujisawa. Yeah.
So that's going to be certainly a significant change there.
Yeah, so there are going to be some new faces, new rivalries in that part of the world. So I didn't want to leave without acknowledging that.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is all those teams, like you could say, right, that Tabata Fujisawa is a rivalry or Yoshimura Tabata is a rivalry, right? They're all just so, like when you watch them on TV, and I know we said at the start, like rivalry doesn't mean you have to hate each other, but they all seem so nice and so friendly, like even when they're playing, that I know they really want to win and they're super competitive, because you don't get to that level without being super competitive. But they also don't seem like they're like, you know what I mean? Like they're just so nice.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you're not rivals without you. Your rivalry is with impoliteness. Like, you know, like
fair enough.
But yeah, so those are ones certainly to keep an eye on for sure. And yeah, and on the Korean side, yeah, you got Team Kim, Team Kim, Team Ha, like so they all count, right? They're just very good. But it's different. I guess it's kind of not quite analogous to the Ontario men's situation because those teams are better.
Yeah, they're better.
But where you have in Korea and Japan multiple teams, whereas when we're talking about like Sweden, Switzerland on the women's side, you're looking at two.
Right? Two, yeah. The difference between 3 or 4 and 2.
Yeah, you have a pool of teams versus really a one-on-one, and who's going to emerge from that cage match versus, it's a battle royal, royal in Korea and Japan. So,
yeah.
One other one, Scott, I did actually write this down. Ben Hebert versus the TSN and Sportsnet sound guys.
Yeah, that's a good one. Always like to see how that one goes.
Yeah,
how fast they can hit the button.
Oh yeah, to cut that mic. I'm one of my bold predictions should be that at some point they'll make curling go on a 5-second delay.
I think they're probably there, Sean. I hear a lot of cursing watching curling on TV.
There's a lot.
Yeah. And I don't know how much they get fined.
I don't think it's much.
Well, yeah, they would probably
it'll be broke.
aim to curb it if it was too much.
Yeah.
Or maybe Curling Canada pays it. I don't know.
Maybe. Or maybe it was Vic's gift to the people. Yeah. All these
That's
years.
what we'll find out 30 years from now.
Yeah.
When Vic's celebrating his 100th birthday, he'll say, "My gift to the curling community was paying fines for Ben Hebert."
Yeah. Yeah. There is we have an idea, and I will have to go back, see if we have time, but one of the ideas for a summer episode is to clip some of the best sound moments from this year. And my favorite by far was Val Sweeting, and during the Scotties missed 2 shots in a row and came down and just went, "What the fuck?" And no one else was like, there's no one now. Like, that's it. That's the only thing you heard on the broadcast, right? Sometimes you hear it under us or Joe as they're breaking it down. This was all you heard. And then Vic comes in and just goes, "I don't think Val was pleased with that." No, right. I don't think she was.
Oh man, I'm gonna miss Vic.
40 years in the business, or 50 years in the business. That's
so good.
That's what you got. Yeah, brilliant. So that's a rivalry to keep track of too. The players against the microphones.
I like it, Sean.
So there you go. So those are the rivalries we're looking forward to for this upcoming quad. What did we miss out? What are you looking forward to in the next 4 years? Let us know. You can reach out to us, gameofstonespodcast@gmail.com, on the socials, Game of Stones Pod, Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. And of course, if you have not yet, please do subscribe to the show wherever it is you get your podcasts. Like, rate, comment, all that good stuff. Head over to the website. The past episodes are there, plus a link to the merch. Scott, it is the first real warm stretch of the summer for us here in the National Capital Region, but it is also the deadline today as we record to sign up for curling at the Ottawa Curling Club and pay. That was a keynote in the email that was sent yesterday, that a bunch of people have signed up but not paid. The paying is the key. Dalal is a smart woman, and that check's got to clear to confirm your spots. Fortunately for our team, I have done so.
Yeah,
So
you did it.
Our spot
which
is
great.
confirmed. She took my money and cashed it. So we're locked in. But have you signed up for curling yet?
No, I've not.
Okay.
I just logged in. Schedules are available. Registration. Access registration. I have not done my registration yet, but I should do it right now.
You don't want to forget, you know?
No, I did forget. My
you
age
can still
range.
register. I mean, the deadline is just to reserve the team space, and the team's space has been reserved.
Yes, as long as the team space is reserved.
Yeah, this one I was able to do. Softball, not so much, but this one
you learned from it. Sean, what would you rate my skill level as? New to curling, limited experience, experienced, advanced / competitive. I was going to put experienced.
Yeah, I think that's what I put, because I am not advanced or competitive. I think I'm a decent club player. I think that's how I would.
Yeah,
a decent recreational player. I'm not going to win the club championship, but I'm not going to finish in last. Like, I'm decent.
Yeah.
Catch me on the right night, I'll make 16 shots. Catch me the next night, I might make 0 shots.
Pretty rare to make 0 shots.
Yeah, it's hard to make 0, but it's possible.
It is possible.
So, yeah. So there you go. You're going to sign up. We're running it back.
Yeah, we're running it back. And listen, auto complete remembered all of our team name. All of our names.
Well, there you go. Just another sign that the AI overlords are coming for us all.
What is an early payment plan? Anyway, sorry, this is great podcasting.
So so there you go. It's sign up time for a lot of places across the country. If you're signing up for next year, starting to turn your attention to it. I know it's a little strange to do so in June, but that's the way the curling schedule works for a lot of rec players and a lot of rec places across the country. So hopefully you're meeting your deadlines, getting things in, and certainly with curling facilities across Canada, some of them are struggling financially. So, this is an important time of year for them as they collect the funds now to disperse over the course of the year, and of course to make it through the summer. So, hopefully if you're playing out there, this is your time to start looking at making your teams, getting registrations in, and seeing where availability is. And of course, Scott alluded to, that off ice training. They say those shots in February are made in the gym in June. So, this is where it comes into play.
That's true, Sean. Today I was doing plank to push up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
That's good for the old core.
Yeah.
That's good for your stability.
Yeah.
It's going to be good for making curling shots.
There you go. All right. Scott guarantee of a 90% season. That's what I'm taking away from that.
Well, maybe a 90% game. I think I can do that. Okay.
That dependent on how we play in front of you, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything is dependent on that.
Of course, yeah. So there you have it. So hope everyone's enjoying the summer. Hope you enjoyed the episode. This was a fun one to do. Some big news in the world of curling here this week with the Shakeup in Scotland, and looking ahead to what we'll see over the next 4 years. And we'll be alongside with you for not only those 4 years, but certainly the rest of the summer as well. So with that, we'll say thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back with you real soon. But until then, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that intern.
Make the final.